Bishop Joy has decided to hold these gatherings every 2 weeks and invites our rostered leaders and our laity to join her for conversation. From time to time, we do invite guest speakers, or we'll focus on timely topics for our ministry. But this week, we decided to try something new. Normally at this time when we elect a new bishop, we would be gathering in person for a meet and greet of our bishop. And we decided we really can't wait until we're together again. So we're bringing you this meet and greet via today's webinar. So today we just decided to make it fun and casual. We're all stressed with our busy lives and our ministry. So we're just going to have fun today to get to know the bishop. So we set this up as a trivia game show today, where we're going to present you with the same questions that we asked the bishop. And she's given us her answers. And in this way, we'll get to know her a little bit better. Robin will post the questions as polls. And you'll enter your answer, and we'll pretty immediately get to see the results. And to make this fun, we'll be rewarding prizes. So do keep a tally of your correct answers as we go along. And then at the end, we're going to hand out awards at the end of the webinar. So after we play this little fun game at the beginning, we're going to open it up just to general questions that you might have. So as you think of something, feel free to write them in the chat. So you don't lose your question, but we'll also just open it up to the general assembly here for questions. So even if it doesn't make it into the chat, feel free to ask a question later on when we do that. So before we begin, Bishop Joy, do you have any words of encouragement for our competitors today?
Well, the other thing that needs to be said is I'm also in the middle of moving. The movers packed up our house in the town of Wayne yesterday, and they just left us with all of these lovely boxes about 45 minutes ago. So I was joking that we might have to do this from me sitting inside of a box, but they did leave me a chair to sit in. So I'm good to go with a chair and my mini boxes. I did also fill out the answers to my questions about 8:30 last night. So I don't really remember the answers that I gave. So it could be anybody's guess what I really said. Also, I would like to say thank you to all of you who have been praying for my family. As you know, many of you know that we were all dealing with COVID last night, or the last couple of weeks. Julia had a fairly mild case and is doing quite well. Darren's had a pretty severe case and is still struggling, but his symptoms are getting somewhat better. He's still not able to go to work though, because his symptoms are pretty steady, but he is doing much better than he was. So thank you all for your prayers. But I'm looking forward to this hour together, and you're certainly going to get to know me from these questions. So I'm glad you're all here.
Okay, Robin, we're ready for the first one. Everybody have your tally sheets next to you to keep track of your correct answers. If you could have a superpower, Bishop, what would it be? Invisibility, supernatural strength, enhanced senses, or teleportation? Vote now. Now you're answering what you think she would answer, not what you would answer.
Okay, voting's done. And the results?
Those of you who said teleportation, you already know me well, because bishops all over have said how much they get windshield time. So when this pandemic is over, I would choose teleportation so I don't have to drive so much.
Okay. Well, I already got the first one wrong.
Vicky's not going to win any prizes.
Oh no. Sorry, I'm trying to find the other polls.
You all wait with bated breath to see what's coming next.
Yeah, where's the noise? The do 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 do.
It's good to see everybody. This is one of our largest groups
Yeah.
I think we've ever had, even right up. Oh, here we go. So when making a PB&J sandwich, do you put on the peanut butter or the jelly first?
All right, I think that was an easy one for a lot of people, so I'm gonna end the vote or the voting, and the answer is, let's share the results.
Yes. I mean, who would put jelly on first? I asked a
Six-
couple of people this and they all said peanut butter. And I think we all do that without thinking, right? I mean, okay, the 10% of you who put jelly on first, you're forgiven.
Okay,
And
Don
John,
Glanzer,
does it surprise us?
I was just going to say the same thing. Don, that didn't surprise us that you answered that.
Well, 6 people answered it, so I have other people too.
Oh.
Let's see.
Those are the creative types.
Yeah. Here's poll number 3.
Favorite movie: Airplane, Titanic, Hope and Glory, or Old Yeller?
Okay, we're ending in 2 seconds.
What do you
And
think?
the results are Airplane.
Ooh. You know, I did enjoy Airplane quite a bit. But you guys, nobody picked Hope and Glory except for, well, a few of you did.
Five
I said
people,
Hope and
yeah.
Glory. Hope and Glory. And with the 5 of you who said Hope and Glory.
Woohoo!
All right.
I don't even remember what that was about, but I'm thinking it might be a hockey movie. No.
No.
No, I stayed away. You can't typecast me already.
Okay, what is the Bishop's Jam? Country, county, I don't know what county music is, Robin, but country, disco, techno.
Do you think
Or-
I'm a country fan? Do I do the disco? Techno? What's my vibe? What's my vibe?
Okay, I'm ending the poll now. And the results are.
Yes, you got me. Pop, definitely pop. You got me.
Yes.
But you don't want me to sing the pop songs.
Well, with auto tune, it's okay.
Yeah.
If Joy weren't called to be a pastor, what would she be?
Ooh, I just gave myself away on this one.
Dog walker, artist, opera singer, snake oil sales.
Isn't that what we do anyways, snake oil?
Okay, ending the poll now.
Are we ready?
The results are.
Oh, you got it. So dog walker, I would be a dog walker, but I did ask my daughter last night about this poll and she said, Mom, you would be into snake oil sales because truth be told, I'm absolutely petrified of snakes. And as you know, we lived in the country until today and we had a lot of snakes. I'm talking a lot of snakes. And every time I saw one, I would scream, 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 scream. Like neighbors far away would hear me screaming. So I searched the internet far and wide and I learned that they do not like the smell of cinnamon oil. So I did make up my own concoction. And every time I would go in the yard, telling you, making myself very vulnerable here. Every time I would go in the yard, I would carry my cinnamon oil spray and squirt in front of myself to keep the snakes away. So I could have sold that stuff because it was highly effective. So the 4% of you who said snake oil sales, you were probably right.
Oh, and before we continue, I need to say something. I forgot to do that because I was thinking, is anyone taking notes? We are recording this and legally I need to tell you that, right, Don Glanzer? So there you go. We are recording.
So you can use it against me in the future.
Yeah. Daughters' names.
Okay, I'm ending the poll because I think we left it up
Oh.
while Vicki was talking, and the answer.
Oh, you guys are so good. You got it.
Yeah.
Alita and Julia. And Alita's name comes from when we were on internship. We had dinner with a lady in Wahoo, Nebraska, where my husband interned. and it had been her mother's name. It comes from a Swedish derivative meaning small winged one, and we thought she was going to be an angel. So, you know, we were young and naive back then. So that's how we got the name Alita.
All right, next question.
What famous person, living or dead, would you like to have dinner with? Would you like to have dinner with Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Justin Bieber, Martin Luther, or Martin Luther King Jr.?
Okay, and I'm going to end the poll. And the answer.
Okay, the poll. Oh,
Oh, interesting how this one broke out. So I really kind of wanted to say Justin Bieber because of some of his new materials, kind of interesting, sort of churchy even. So I did want to say Justin Bieber. And then I wanted to say Martin Luther King Jr. because I wanted to be like a confirmation student who gets Martin Luther and Martin Luther King Jr. all screwed up. So I thought about saying that. Then I thought about, you know, Martin Luther might be the bishopy thing to say, but then I said Bonhoeffer. So Bonhoeffer is the correct answer.
okay.
All
Did you
right.
get that right? All right. Stephen Nielsen got that right.
Okay.
Tina got it right.
I can't wait to
Right.
see who's going to get the prizes.
Yes.
Too.
All right, question number 8.
What do you like to do in your free time? Fishing, boating, camping, or playing board games? I think you gave a clue at Synod Assembly.
I might have.
A big clue.
I think I might have. I think you should all get this one right.
Okay, I'm gonna end the poll.
Carol, you don't want her to go rollerblading, huh?
Rollerblading's fun. I like rollerblading. Oh, look at this. The fishing stories. I tell good fish stories. I do like fishing, although I also enjoy boating and camping. And playing cart. I mean, those were all good options. But fishing, I would definitely go fishing. And when you're fishing, you're also kind of boating. So, but fishing is the right answer.
Okay. Next question.
Professional or personal role model? Amelia Earhart, Joan of Arc, Michelle Obama, or Rosa Parks? Now, give us a second on this one, Robin.
Yeah, this is a thinker.
Yeah.
Gotta go with your gut, guys, just like the tests in school.
That's
Don't
right.
think too much about
Just
it.
pick one. Don't overthink
Always
it.
go for your first reaction. Yep.
Don't overthink it.
Okay. And the answer.
Oh,
Hmm.
very good. See, now Vicky and Robin, when they got my confidential file sent over from Greater Milwaukee, they went snooping in it. How dare they? But they did.
Maybe.
They found a magazine article that was done on me like 14 years ago in Appleton, in which I answered a question like this, and I said Amelia Earhart. So Amelia Earhart is the right answer. So when I was talking about this with my daughter last night, I said, I don't know if she'd still be the one, but then I realized she probably is because she just took risks and was a strong, independent woman. So Amelia Earhart is what I'm sticking with.
Nice.
Okay, next question.
Where was Bishop Joy born? Great Lakes Naval Base, Illinois, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Los Angeles, California, or London, England?
All right. And the answer is. No, that's me. I was born there.
Oh. Because
I
a
was
lot
born-
of us have talked to you.
A lot of people have me confused with Robin right now, but I was born in Oshkosh. Yes, I was born in Oshkosh, so 33% of you got it right. And my mom was born in Madison, so
Oh,
So no one in the Great Lakes Naval Base.
no.
Got it.
And not from London.
No.
oh, perfect meal. Steak and potatoes, good old-fashioned church potluck, homemade chicken noodle soup, or spicy vegetables stir fry.
Let's see how well they know me here.
Hmm. Okay, it looks like we've got about 55 with their votes in. So the answer is they know you pretty well.
They do know me pretty well. Good job, everyone. That's right. You have a vegetarian for a bishop. Vegetarian ever since I went through chemotherapy. So I call myself an accidental vegetarian.
Okay.
It just happened to me. So 14 years of thinking maybe I would want meat again, but it's a texture problem for me. So spicy vegetable stir fry.
So Nick, you're guaranteed next time we're in person for an event, we'll probably have a really good vegetarian meal.
Hey, spicy vegetarian stir fry coming up at Senate Assembly.
All right. You know it. You know it.
Do you have a breath prayer? Inhale, be still, exhale, and know you are God. Your grace, exhale, is enough for me. There is no fear in your love. Hand breath practice. That was hard to read. I wasn't sure how to do that, but you get the gist.
Okay, and we're about at 55. So here's the answer.
Oh. I think I probably would have chosen the one that most of you picked. Your grace exhale is enough for me. I think that is definitely the one I would have chosen if I hadn't also been a school-based therapist teaching little kids. So I always taught them the breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and let them put whatever words were in their mind at the time. So that's the one I do most often. And so it's not always the same words every day. And so that's what I taught them like 5 days a week for many, many weeks, and especially a couple of my kids. So we would just trace your hand and do that breath prayer. So I think that one is the one I still do the most. And it's amazing what different words come to me. So I guess that would technically be the hand breath prayer.
Okay.
Maybe
Well,
they
3
don't need to
people know
count that
you
one to
well.
the tally. Yeah.
3 people know you well on that one.
If you could own a mythical creature, unicorn, phoenix, etc., which one would you pick? Unicorn, dragon, mermaid, or gnome?
Who found these questions?
If you could own a mythical creature, not just know one, but own one.
Wow. All right. And the poll is closed. The results
Oh,
are
that's a tough
pretty
one.
close.
That's a pretty tough one. So I wouldn't want a dragon, except for maybe I'd want to own one today just to set fire to all these boxes. A dragon would come in handy. I'm really not interested in a mermaid. And gnomes, I don't know, they're just kind of small to me. So I went with unicorn.
Woo! Good guess.
All right, we got another one here.
Cat or dog person?
Okay, I think we've got everyone in, for everyone who's voting. And the results are,
Oh, you know me so well. Dogs all the way.
well, if you're going to be a dog walker. Yep. All right. Whoops.
Gets at least 8 hours of sleep. When I was 4, every single night. Hey, Robin.
Yeah.
Can we repeat questions and have everybody answer the same question?
Sure.
Yeah,
I can go
I
back.
would love to know the answer to this one from everybody online.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can do it again after. All right. Looks like we're at everyone here. 50, well, we're getting a few more, 58. And here's the answer for Joy.
Ooh, split down. Oh.
Kind of split there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not a great sleeper. I try though, because I really do believe in being balanced and have good, healthy habits, but I'm just generally not a great sleeper. So I went with when I was 4. I do strive for it, but it's also quite elusive to me.
Okay, let's replay that question, Robin.
Yeah,
And
no, answer for yourself, right?
Answer for yourself.
All right, here it goes. So of course we can't keep this on your tally, maybe.
Yeah.
That's a bonus question.
Yeah, there you go, bonus. And the answer,
Well, I would bet if we said maybe 7 to 8 hours of sleep, we'd get more every single night, but we're supposed to get 7 to 8. That's the ideal. So if you're not
Sleep
getting that,
pastors are
yeah,
not good.
you might work on that. That's really important. Okay.
there we go.
Do you live by any piece of advice or motto? Never be bored and you will never be boring. Pick a star on the dark horizon and follow the light. Living on a prayer, Bon Jovi. You need to calm down, you're being too loud.
Okay, looks like we have about
You guys are gonna nail this
58,
one.
60 people in. And the answers,
Ooh. Split. Living on a prayer. See, that was the obvious answer. That was the obvious, like, Bishop wanting to, like, have y'all think that was me kind of answer. But I told you I am who I am. So I went, you need to calm down. You're being too loud. Mostly, good job, Nick. Mostly because, again, like the school therapist in me, like trying to, like, tone down the kids who are just like, just losing control and need to regulate. And, sometimes parishioners are like that. And sometimes we pastors are like that too. We just get, we need a little regulation. So I went with Taylor Swift.
Plus, it's a pop song.
Plus,
Yeah,
it's a pop
right.
song. Good. Yes,
Another clue.
Totally. I am consistent.
Ooh, dream vacation. Even that word right now sounds far away. Hawaii, New York City, Paris, Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming.
Okay, we've got most of our entries in. I guess I'm a little surprised, but now that I think about it, I'm not. That nobody really picked New York City.
Yeah. I did say Paris, but I really did go back and forth between the national park and Paris. I ended up going with Paris because my daughter said, that's a really pretty place to visit. I'm like, all right.
Let's see.
Oh, you have a question here, Bishop. Seeing that Amelia Earhart is your hero, do you know what street do you know where her street is in Madison?
I do not, and I'm surprised that Tim maybe already does because he's even newer to the synod than I am.
Where is it, Tim?
East side of the airport off of Highway 51.
Oh.
It's a very short road. It's surrounded by water. No, it's not.
Oh, no. terrible.
Well, that makes sense.
No, but it's a very short road leading into the airport.
I'll go visit it.
We get lost, and that's how we find little weird landmarks.
That's what happens when you're new to the city. You get lost, right?
That's right.
Okay, launching number 18. We're almost done with the questions.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Bread, pizza, ice cream, or chocolate? What'd she say?
Okay, I'm closing the poll. And the answer,
Ooh,
Wow, that's a pretty even distribution.
yeah.
that is amazing. And you know what? The pizza and bread people, you like think like me, I think, because I ended up picking pizza only because then I could have bread also. Because pizza crust is like bread. So I was like, you can't lose then. So I chose pizza.
Well, also you could put anything on pizza,
Truth.
right? So then basically you're able to eat anything.
Truth. Yeah.
What would be the title of your memoir if it wasn't already taken by a famous person? Becoming by Michelle Obama, Untamed, Glennon Doyle, Bossy Pants, Tina Fey, I Can't Make This Up by Kevin Hart.
Okay, I'm closing the poll now. And the answer,
You nailed it. You definitely nailed it.
Can't make
Can't-
this stuff up.
Can't make this stuff up. I don't even know if I need to say more because you nailed it so well.
Do you have a favorite holiday? Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, 4th of July. I don't know your answer, but I did ask this question once of pastors and was very surprised at the answer.
Hmm.
I thought it would be something like Christmas, but no, there's too much work around that holiday. So Thanksgiving is your favorite. I think we should poll everybody after this one.
You just gave the answer away before I
I
closed
know.
it.
I want to see if I'm right because I think Thanksgiving. Everybody said Thanksgiving because that's like a week of the.
Oh, so
All
most
right.
people picked Easter.
Yeah.
I do really enjoy Easter. I love leading worship on Easter, for sure. I did say Thanksgiving though, since Vicky gave that away.
Let's turn that one around, Robin.
Okay.
Let's
All right,
ask-
you want me to relaunch that one?
relaunch that one.
So now everyone,
Now
Yeah.
you should answer for yourself. What is your favorite holiday?
Hey, Vicky, since you gave that away, we should all be able to account that one, right?
I think so,
No,
yes.
'cause
You
you
all get
didn't
to count
change it.
that.
That's a free one.
okay.
Brian says his answer isn't on the list. What's Brian, what's your answer?
My favorite holiday is Groundhog Day.
Oh, nice.
Ah,
Nice.
The perpetual holiday.
Okay, I think we have everybody in and the answers are you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you all just say that so I'd be wrong?
They're actually all pretty even, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Okay.
Who wants to offer up why Christmas is their favorite holiday? Who would like to offer their answer? Unmute yourself. Anybody?
I chose Christmas because I have grandkids, 5 of them, and I get to watch them open their gifts.
oh, yeah.
Oh, Rob Nelson's shaking his head because you have 5 kids, right?
No, it's not my kids, my grandkids.
No, yeah, I got that.
Okay, question.
What was the last TV show you binge watched? The Crown, Grey's Anatomy, Schitt's Creek, or The Great British Bake Off?
Okay, looks like we've got a lot of people who binge or think about binge worthy.
Oh, you guys nailed it again. That was the one. Although I have enjoyed the Great British Bake Off, but I don't know that I would say that I binged watched any of them. But I did enjoy Schitt's Creek quite a bit. You should see it.
So the funny thing about both of those, the British Bake Off and Schitt's Creek, they combined for me. I was watching both at the same time, and I was watching the British Bake Off, and they kept saying "fold it in," and I thought of the other one. The other one instead, in the scene where he's asking his mom to teach him how to fold in the cheese.
If you're a binge watcher, you'll get that eventually, right?
Or even if you watch it at all.
Okay, we
No,
must
this
have.
is going to come
next
back
one?
and get me. This whole quiz thing's going to come back and get me at some point. You guys are going to remember this, and
What's your favorite season? Spring, summer, fall, winter?
Okay, ending the poll.
fall it is. That's when hockey starts. And it's also pretty.
Yes.
Oh, see, I put winter because that's the thick of hockey season. So I guess
That's true too.
I should have just put hockey season up there.
You
Yeah.
should've just put hockey season up.
okay, we must have one. Is this the last one?
There are 2 more.
2 more. Okay, what's the phone app you use the most? Headspace, Zoom, Bible Gateway, or Audible?
Okay, and the answer? Mhm.
Actually, I use Headspace quite a bit. That's a great app. And right when the pandemic started, they gave therapists free subscriptions. So that helped me use it more too.
Oh.
Can you explain what it is? I don't know if everyone knows what Headspace is.
It's a great app for meditation and like cognitive behavioral therapy, just a good app for just helping you to have better mental health habits.
Which is
Is that
good
how you-
for everyone.
Is that how you would
Yeah, it's
describe
good
it,
for
Robin?
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely how I would describe it.
Can the Synod provide it free for all of us?
Well, there is
know.
a free
There's a
free version, I think.
There's a free
Yeah.
version of it. But I certainly recommended it when I was doing therapy. I certainly recommended it to clients because it's a very helpful thing just to keep a person on track for just good mental health and good mental health habits. So I
And they
really
have a-
enjoyed using it.
They have a lot of different practices in
Mhm.
there. A lot of, some for kids, some for adults, dealing with different seasons. It's
Mhm.
really, it's a good app.
Hmm.
And you can
Yeah, and they
choose a
have-
British accent to be
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, it's just a good app to send reminders and just to keep yourself on track to be healthy. Yeah, and Lucy's saying Sendvello is another one that works like that. I have that app on my phone too, and that one just sends, at least the version I have, I have the free version of that. It just sends little reminders. Sometimes it'll just say, "How are you doing today?" Sometimes it'll just check in with you, and that's just a good reminder too. If you're starting to feel just overwhelmed or extra stressed, it just I don't know, it just works as a visual reminder when it comes up as an actual reminder on your phone. And just for me, it just functions to kind of pop me out of my stress a little bit and center me. So that is a good one, Lucy.
Okay, second to last question. It's an interesting one.
If you could time travel, when and where would you go? The birth of Christ in the manger, 30 seconds before Eve took the apple, the Garden of Eden, First Palm Sunday, Jesus Christ's victorious entry into Jerusalem, or 3 days after the death of Jesus on the cross at the empty tomb?
Okay, and I'm closing the poll. The answer.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, that was a hard one to answer in a way for me, maybe for all of us, because they'd all be cool places to be to. I mean, but I'd like to see the women at the tomb, and yeah. So you nailed it.
And the very last question, important for someone new to Madison to know.
Pizza order from Glass Nickel. This is the favorite at the Senate office. Fatalicious, Mac Daddy, Margarita, or cardiac arrest? Well, that's kind of easy for the clues that we had early on, isn't it? There, I gave you that one, everybody.
Sort of.
I like what
Okay.
Paula says.
And the voting is done. Sharing the results. 3 people didn't remember that our bishop is a vegetarian.
It's all right.
That's okay.
Someday,
Yeah.
maybe I won't be. Who knows? Fedalicious. Yep, definitely Fedalicious. That is fine pizza. But I think Paula has suggested another place for fine pizza that I'm going to have to try.
Well, you have a lot of options in Madison. There's more restaurants per capita in our city than any other city in the country. I don't know if you know that, but you have a lot of choices.
I think maybe tonight's a pizza night since my kitchen is totally not unpacked and it's just full of boxes. I think tonight is sounding a lot like a pizza night.
Perfect. So count up your correct answers, and at the end of the Q&A here, we'll find out who knew our bishop before we even knew her. All right. So at this point, we just want to open it up to the group as a whole. Any questions that you have of Bishop Joy, and this is a nice opportunity to get to know her a little bit better with some serious questions, or not serious questions, whatever's on your heart and on your mind. And I think the way we'll do this is just, there's so many of you on, there's 73 of you on, so I don't think I'm going to do raise hand visually because we won't be able to find you. But if you could go into the participant area and there's a raise hand icon there if you have a question, and then just that'll put you to the top of the list and I'll be able to find you and call on you. So. And feel free to do that at any time.
Now they know everything about me.
Okay.
The first
Don.
question is hard.
First question's from Don. So go ahead and unmute your microphone. Boy, this is giving me a deja vu.
Are those of us with interns or congregations with care teams, care ministers, are they going to be able to preside at communion?
I understand Peter was had given them permission to preside at communion, right? Peter had allowed them to preside at communion. I don't see a great deal of reason to stop anything midstream or prohibit them from presiding at the table. And Don, you and I spoke about your situation, and yeah, I don't see any reason to change things midstream. So I guess if anything, you know, if you have a new situation that develops, I certainly would appreciate a phone call, but I'm not going to be issuing any edicts to change situations that are currently going on.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks, Don. Carol Baumgartner.
I am wondering how Darren and your daughter are doing with COVID.
Yeah, thank you. I gave just a brief update at the beginning. So Julia is doing very well. She seems to be almost back to her normal self. She had a fairly mild case, just fevers and lots of body aches and things like that. Darren is still pretty ill, although his oxygen saturations are getting better. They're like around 90, 91. So he's still not able to go to work or anything like that. He's very out of breath, but he's doing considerably better than he was. So I think it's just going to take some time. But thank you for your many prayers. He is doing much better than he was.
Is he out of the hospital?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, he's home. Yeah. So
And did
thank
you avoid it?
I did, yeah. My niece was also living with us, and she and I both had negative tests, and Julia and Darren had positive tests. So I slept on an air mattress for 13 nights, and we kept Darren in the master bedroom. We kept Julia in her bedroom, and used a lot of delivered meals outside of bedrooms. And yeah, so as far as I know, you know, I had the one negative test. I didn't retest, but I haven't had any symptoms. So. But it's been an interesting, very long road. But he's definitely better than he was. Thank you.
Paula, you have a question about understanding the Lutheran theology on the communion practice with interns. Did you want to
No, that
expound
was
on
a
it?
question. If someone would please clarify that. I don't understand. I come from an Episcopalian background.
Well, I think the Conference of Bishops has had different views on that over the years. And individual bishops and individual synods have had differing views on that through the last decade for sure, about whether interns should or should not be presiding at the table. So it's been a varied practice across our church. Some bishops are not in favor of allowing interns to be given permission to preside over Holy Communion. Your previous bishop, when she started, didn't allow that at all. And that caused some issue, as I understand it, in the synod, because there were a number of situations, interns and then others who had been given permission to preside that suddenly weren't, including some interim situations. I guess my default, as I think through it, and I'm still getting to know you, is where there's already been permission given, and mostly in these cases now it's from your interim bishop Peter. I don't feel the need to upset the apple cart, because I think the pastor in Loci, the pastor who's of the church, so I can use Don as an example. Don texted me and said, hey, my intern is going to be the one at the church. Is it okay if he does? You know, Don knows his congregation and he knows his intern far better than I do right now. And so I trust, you know, his sense of the sacrament and what is good and right and proper in that place, and his judgment. So I don't feel the need to say, you know, absolutely not. But I would appreciate, you know, the phone call just to check in, and so that we're doing right by the sacraments. But I don't feel the need to come and say, you know, this is my firm position. I just don't think that's healthy for our ongoing relationship, one to another, and the building of relationships in our synod. It's just been a very divisive thing within the Conference of Bishops, between synods. Different bishops handle it different ways, and I don't know that it's really a settled issue within our church.
I understand that, and I have read all of that, but what I don't understand is the the reasoning behind doing it.
The reason behind having an intern do it?
Right, yeah, yeah. Maybe that's from my background.
I think mostly it started to happen that way. I think there's probably two main reasons it started. One was to give pastoral experience while there was a pastor supervisor in place. So that was one way that it started. And another way that it started is probably in detached internship sites where the pastor supervisor was in another location. So that the congregants could still have Holy Communion. So it would have started that way. I think nowadays it also happens because there's not as many supply pastors available. So if the pastor's on vacation, then the sacrament can continue because now more and more of our congregations in normal non-pandemic times are receiving the sacrament every week as opposed to quarterly or twice monthly. So I think those are some of the precursors that led up to a lot of the confusion we have now. Does that help?
Fred, did you have a follow-up to that, or is your question answered now? Fred Rilling.
I understand, and I guess maybe I didn't understand the policy as it was or as it is, but I know that there were situations where the synod gave permission to lay people because of a particular situation.
Right.
In my case, we have two pastors. We've understood that this was not something interns could do. We've had 6 of them, so none of them have. We certainly have not run into a situation where we would need the intern to preside. So I guess I'm wondering, in Don's situation where there's one of him, where there's 2 of us, does that change our practice? I guess I'm wondering more about the general sort of sense that you have about that, knowing that so far I understand you're not trying to clamp down on processes and procedures that are done in good order. But in our case, it seems like it doesn't need to happen. And from a practice standpoint, or practicing the process, communion is pretty simple. You read the words, you do the actions, and
Right.
happens.
Yeah, I would say that in your situation, that doesn't need to happen. And I wouldn't think that the interns you've had were expecting that to happen. I think some of the practicing doing the sacrament, some of that is from our predecessor church bodies too, where, perhaps in the LCA, they did more of that. In the ALC, they did less of that. I'm not an expert in some of that, but I think predecessor church body practice had some of the stuff that we brought in and then mixed all in a big stew, and we don't know what's what anymore. But I would think, Fred, in your church, your interns probably don't have that expectation because they know they're not going to be without a pastor. And you're right, Holy Communion is pretty easy to preside over. And at ordination, or the first Sunday after your ordination, that's pretty special if you haven't done that before. That's kind of cool. So I don't know if I'm really answering your question, but
Yeah, yes, I think that's as good an answer as I need at this moment. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, Heather Hayward, New Life Church.
Yeah, I just one question of offering to help. Do you need any help moving in?
oh, thank you. No, I think we're good. The movers dropped all the boxes, so we're here, and we have we have a bed, so we'll be good. Thank you, though. That's very kind of you.
Well,
Thank
that
you.
was the self-offer, and now the self-serving question. Are you still planning to do a December 27th message?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
And I know that I promised, I'm trying to remember which conference told me which date they had to have it by, and I'll honor that date. I just told Robin earlier, though I have no clue where my calendar is right now. But whatever date I promised to whichever conference that I would have it in by, it'll be there. You'll have it. I promise.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
That was December the 15th, Joy.
Thank you, Matt. I knew it was. I'll have it. You'll have it.
Okay, Catherine Kiekhofer, do you have a question? I'm not sure by the chat if you're wanting to ask a question.
No, I was meaning, I'm still waiting to get to preside over the table since this weird pandemic. So maybe Christmas Eve outdoors possibility, but I just had to make a comment about that.
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I just back to that issue for a minute. I mean, as the church changes as quickly as it's changing, I think we need to be flexible in lots of ways that we were very inflexible before. And we need to be able to, we need to remember good order, but we don't need to be rigid. I think if we're rigid in many things, we sacrifice many things too, but to still be waiting, that's hard. So I hope that Christmas Eve will be that time for you.
Okay, we have a question from Tim Maybe.
That must
Unmute your.
have been an accident.
Oh,
I do have a question, but I don't know if I want to bring it up on this issue, so we'll wait for another date.
okay.
I just think about how we view word and sacrament, and it seems like we seem to hold one in higher esteem, and I thought that was part of who we are. And if we see word and sacrament as the same, but just another fly in the ointment.
What do you think? Do we hold them the same?
Well, if we allow interns to preach but not to preside over the sacraments, I would say we have become a sacramental church and not a church of word and sacrament.
Thanks, Tim. Matt Polk, Evansville.
Something much lighter, as we refer to you in our congregations. Do you have a preference? This is Bishop Joy. This is Bishop Mortensen Wiebe. This is Bishop JMW.
Bishop Joy would be fine. My last name is a big, long last name. And, I think I've told a number of you, I'm still having a hard time with the bishop thing in front. That seems very surreal and hard to get used to still, but Bishop Joy would be fine. So thank you for that question.
That's a really good question, Matt. And I thought we needed a spelling lesson I was going to do in What Matters for all of our newsletter editors out there, that her last name doesn't have an O before the last N. So it's E-N, because I think that's going to be a common mistake. And E before I will be a common mistake. So W-I-E-B-E. And I know they'll be common because I made them initially.
That's why Joy is easy to spell.
Yeah, so Bishop Joy, but. All right, any other questions? Tina, you have a suggestion, some sort of gathering for the chaplains in the synod?
That's a great idea. I would love to do that. I was a chaplain in my second call, and that would be a great idea. I love that idea.
And Kirsten has a question. Any updates on Synod Assembly or lead?
You can answer that one, Vicki.
Sure, I'd be happy to take that one. So what we are doing on December 16th, we are organizing a Synod Assembly / events revisioning team. This is something we've wanted to do for quite some time, and the onus is here now that we are probably looking at a digital events for all of next year. Whether that will include assembly or not, we just don't know yet. So after December 16th, after the team meets, and anyone who's on this call who has said yes to that invitation to be on the team, I want to thank you for that. We should know more. So right now, I'm sorry I don't have an answer. I know that many of you elect your voting members at your annual meetings. That's why we planned this meeting on December 16th, because we're trying to get some sort of answer to you before your annual meeting, so you know whether or not you need to do that. So we are sensitive to that, and we'll do our best to make decisions that we can communicate quickly to you.
I just saw a question come in, the biggest surprise so far, and what's my impression of the Conference of Bishops? Biggest surprise so far, I'm not sure if it's a surprise, but it's certainly a reality that I I guess I knew was out there, but it still feels huge, is so I had the baby bishop formation last week, part 2, the bishops, whatever. And they were going through the list of like, here's the things you have to be a part of, here's the highly recommended things, and here's other things you should be. So like all the boards and things you have to be on, and then the things you really should be on. And then here's all the list of things that you might want to consider being on. So I didn't realize how much is in that left column that bishops are expected to serve on, both within the church-wide expression and then just college boards, seminary boards, this list is much longer than I realized it was. I mean, I knew there were many things bishops were expected to do, but that's a very, very long list. And keeping the boundary just around this, in addition to all the other things that are already, that's somewhat of a surprise. I think it's a manageable surprise, but it's a big surprise. And then you get the second column and the third column. And so that's a bit of a surprise. And then what's my impression of the Conference of Bishops? So right now, the Conference of Bishops, because of the pandemic, has been meeting every Thursday for a Zoom meeting for an hour, which I think is really good because I think they're actually getting to know each other. I'm not sure when they were only meeting quarterly or twice a year that they really did get to know each other. And they've had various topics. Some of them are educational. Right now, they're in a pretty remedial state of just they're trying to learn how to go from the listserv to using Microsoft Teams, and that's a hard move for some of them. So they're having to teach that. But often they're very good topic-driven conversations. So I like that, and they feel supportive. They do express the differences across our very wide church, geographically, and also just the reality of our church. So when the future church directions stuff came out a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, I've kind of lost track of time. All that time on the air mattress, I've lost track, but they really had some differing reactions based on what part of the country they live in. How would some of those priorities land based on where and what kind of synod they were bishop of? So I do appreciate that they have a level of honesty, they have a candor, and they call Liz Eaton out, they call her straight out and expect her to respond, and she does. So that's encouraging to me. It's encouraging to me that there's that level of honesty and transparency among them. And then just the second layer of that is the Region 5 bishops have been meeting every week as well. And that's good too. And there's a number of new bishops in Region 5. And I think that's a good group. So it's good. I think Region 5, especially because we're entering into this new way of doing first call process, is going to be really having to work very collegially and with the number of new bishops. I think it'll be a good time to transition into really working better together. I'm not sure that the region has worked all that well together in recent years, but I think we're going to be this pandemic has helped that because they've been meeting more often and getting to know each other better. So I'm encouraged by it. I think there's good hope there.
All great questions. Thank you, everyone. We're going to do a couple of announcements and then we'll do the scoring. First of all, yes, if you didn't hear this, the Advent message will be available December 15th. Is that what you said? December 15th? Or the December 27th message will be available December 15th. The Advent message that we had posted earlier has been reposted with enhanced audio, so there's lip syncing now. Thanks to Messiah Lutheran, who shared their cleaned up version with us, so we didn't have to do it. That was really helpful. But that is still available from our website. Many of you, as I said, we know are approaching your annual meetings, so we've posted several resources to help you navigate through voting, what you need to do, considerations for remote annual meetings and emergency. We have an emergency bylaw for your use. Those are all posted to the Synod website, but if you have any questions about that, feel free to call me and I'm happy to work with you on that. And then finally, watch your emails for the Synod's Christmas greeting. We're doing something a little different this year. We're interested in casting a little wider net so that you can share it more widely, our Christmas card, if you will. And so watch your email for that. So that ends the announcements. And so now what we want you to do is use the participant area to raise your hand. Raise your hand if you got 5 correct. Well, looks like most everybody. All right, so now you will lower your hand or keep it raised if you got 8 correct. Lower your hand or keep it raised if you got 10 correct. Ooh. Keep your hand raised if you got 15 correct. Oh, and one of them is a phone number. We're going to have to get your name so we can award the prizes here. Oh, we're down to 1, Fred Rilling, Julie Cron, Jason, Pastor Jason, and then 1 phone number of 608 35.
I think
Oh,
that was
Peter.
a question. I think that was a question.
Oh,
No, I'm still in.
you're still in.
Oh, okay,
So we,
good, good.
hey, so we have 4 winners. We have 2 Amazon gift cards, and then we have for the, well, let's see. Peter, how many total did you get right?
I was at 15.
15?
Yep.
Okay. Jason, how many right did you get?
I was at 16.
Okay. Julie?
15.
Okay.
Jason wins.
And then Fred. Oh,
I wasn't able to raise my hand or lower it. So I got to 12 and then I was like, it won't do anything.
okay. All right. So we have 3 winners, Peter, Jason, and Julie. We have Amazon gift cards and we also have 3 books, and we'll send you the email of the books that we have available that we can send to you, and Robin will do that for you. So congratulations.
Congratulations. Thanks for playing along, everyone. You're the best.
So that ends our time this week with the bishop. We will be holding these every 2 weeks. I think Robin posted the schedule in her email to the roster today, and for all the laity that are on the line, thanks for joining us as well. We'll post the schedule of these webinars in What Matters, so pay attention to that. Thanks, everyone. I pray that you get at least 7 hours of sleep tonight. But thanks for joining us. It's always better with you here.
Have a good week, everyone.
Yep, bye.
Oh, Robin, you didn't make me co-host, so I have no control.